This is RWJSN. If it's new to us, it's news to you. I'm Joshua Smith. Coming up next, is air pollution really what it seems? Today, our field reporter Ryan Woolfolk will bring us daunting answers to this question into the light. With him first, Slade Sapora, a biologist and teacher at Tillamook High School, followed by Ryan Hamilton, also a teacher at Tillamook High School, and a philosopher. But first, carbon dioxide emissions by humans alone have increased by 600% since the 1950s. And there's also been a 400 parts per million of carbon dioxide compared to 280 parts per million in the pre-industrial periods. Also, vehicular transports also lead global emissions of air pollutants. 4 of the 6 common air pollutants have at least 50% of their emissions stem from vehicles. Now to you, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Woolfolk, and I'm here with Slade Sapora, discussing air pollution's effects on wildlife and the environment. As I understand, you studied a particular species of birds for a number of years, is that right?
Yeah, I studied a bunch of different birds up in Alaska, including these little sassy birds here, puffins.
Alright, and did air pollution play any role in these birds' lives, or was it just an offset sort of topic?
For these particular birds here, not much, because they live out in the Pacific, which luckily has some of the cleanest air on the planet. But I did work on the Louisiana oil spill with sandpipers, and air pollution was a big concern there.
What sort of role did it play in the birds' lives?
Air pollution is a number of different things, but the main thing is, of course, it's chemicals that we put into the atmosphere. Some of those chemicals naturally occur, like carbon dioxide. It's just increased levels of them could have all kinds of effects on local ecosystems globally. But I suppose the main one would be with the oil spill, where harmful chemicals, what we call carcinogens, things that can cause cancer, damage to cells. So the main one there would be things like benzene and other chemicals like that that were put off by raw oil gas that was leaking into the ocean. Yay!
And in regards to wildlife and the environment, do you see any solution for air pollution in general, or any sort of way to reduce it?
In general, air pollution, I mean, I think we're getting better at it. The main causes, we like to blame industry. We often like to, point at a factory or a building, but the main sources of air pollution are us collectively. 8 billion people driving cars and using air fresheners or whatever else there is out there that they like to do. Those types of things build up and create more pollution problems than what they call point source pollution, which would be like one factory or something like that. So I think the main things are that we're getting better at it. I think, honestly, I'm a big believer in regulations, and we need more laws and things like that in place to kind of push us in that direction, kind of force us to make the changes that we know that we need to make.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Ryan. Moving on, although industries do play a part in global emissions, vehicular transport is the leader in greenhouse gas emissions, meaning that the citizens themselves are the main cause of air pollution. Does this have to do with human ethics, or is there more to this information? We return to Ryan Woolfolk speaking to Ryan Hamilton as they talk about these ideas.
I'm with Ryan Hamilton, a philosopher and teacher at Tillamook High School. Now, I understand you've traveled across the globe quite a bit.
That is true, yes.
And in these places, has air pollution played a role in any of these people's lives?
Absolutely, yes.
And in what manner has it played a role?
Well, in every major Asian city that I've been to, literally after a day of walking around the streets, you would personally be afflicted with a severe headache yourself because of the fumes. You find that in many poor nations, third world countries, that when petroleum gets shipped there from other places, people will mix the petroleum with water, just with a little bit of water, so it goes further, you can make more money. But the consequences when that's burned in engines, there's a major black kind of soot that is emitted out of the tailpipes of these part water burning engines. It's really bad for the engines, and it's also bad for the environment in the sense that it just is this really dark black soot that comes out of everybody's tailpipes, and you end up just literally walking around in a haze of that in every major city that I've been to. So typically we would actually wear scarves around our nose and mouth, and I'd see local people doing the same thing. And so I've had that experience in many cities in Asia.
All right. And air pollution, as you know, is mostly caused by the people across the world driving their cars around, mobile transportation and the sort. Do you think that reflects on people's ethics and attitude towards air pollution itself?
I guess it does seem to suggest a sort of a disregard for the common air that everybody breathes, right? A lack of connection there. But it also has a lot to do with identity in society. You know, whereas if you have a car, you're looked at as being well off, fortunate. And even if you don't necessarily need a car or want a car, you are encouraged to have a car because it's of social standing. So I think it has a lot to do with societal concerns and societal sort of conditioning as well.
And in regards to society itself, do you see any solution for air pollution itself, or any way to diminish it?
Well, certainly. I mean, building with less with concrete is a huge the making of concrete is one of the biggest emitters of CO2 gases in the world. So the cutting of rainforests, which are carbon banks, right? Storage banks of carbon without rainforest, which we're losing at a rate of something like, 50 or what is it? 500 or 5,000 or something along those lines of football fields of rainforest every day just in the Amazon, right? And that's losing our ability to contain and store carbon. Otherwise, it's just in the atmosphere. So we're limiting ourselves. But as far as solutions go, not cutting rainforest, not building only with concrete, and then pursuing alternate forms of energy. There's a car in France right now that runs on air, right? It's a little car, it runs on air, compressed air, runs a little turbine. So the technology's there. I think that the financial support, economic support is what's lacking. So to encourage politicians that we as citizens care about the quality of our air and want those kinds of technologies would be a big step. So active citizenry for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Finish it off, Josh.
This report concludes today's newscast. I'm Joshua Smith, and this is RWJSN. If it's new to us, it's news to you.